Hello, everybody out there in video land, and hello, everybody out there in radio land. Here we are today. Yeah. Woo! After a big long weekend of food and merriment, I guess you could call it that. That's what you want to call it. It was a good weekend. Yeah, it was a nice long weekend to have. Took an extra day there and enjoyed it. And it's a short week this week, which is never bad. Nice to have a short week once in a while. And of course, we are back at the board here with all kinds of neat stuff to talk about. And of course, my name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, as usual in the studios of 4680Q Radio on Chrysler Avenue, right across from the Meteor Crater. And the Meteor Crater is getting to be a little weeds are starting to die off, and things just aren't looking as nice as they did, nice and green in the summer, right? Yeah, nice and green, although that's not really the kind of green we want to see, is it? No, not weed green. We'd rather see other kind of green. Yeah, but it's not going to happen. Anyway, it's Trash Talking Tuesday today, so let's talk some trash here. But before we get to the trash, let's get to the good stuff, and that's my sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, and Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. Let's start with Wild Bill's, and we'll get to the other two of my great sponsors a little bit later on in the show. But, Wild Bill's, we're starting to get out there. It's a cold day out there today, 48 degrees when I left. 48. We're getting there. We're going to be seeing Jack Frost nipping at your knob pretty soon. But it doesn't matter. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop has you covered. Ken Hunter, he's offering a free end of summer inspection on your car. That's right. No charge. Just make an appointment, bring it in. Ken's going to take care of you. He's going to look at your brakes, your suspension, your tires. He's going to give your car a computer scan to see if there's any error codes popping up that you don't know about. Check your fluids, check your lightning, and he's going to take that vehicle for a test drive to see if there's any other problems that are going on with it. And that's a good thing. You want to be proactive. You want to get your car up and running for the winter. You don't want to break down in the cold, snow, sleet, stormy weather that we get around here. It's always miserable, slushy and everything. It's not that real Alberta cold or that, real nice Florida warm. So you want to get it checked out. You want to be proactive, and you don't want to wait for a breakdown before you check your car out. Call Ken today. Now, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop is on Oakwood Drive, right next to the Kia dealership. Book your appointment for that free summer inspection. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. You'll be happy. I'll be happy. And thank you so much for supporting our sponsors. Thank you for watching the show. Thank you for commenting on the show. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for hitting the notification button and giving us a thumbs up, thumbs down, or even comments. I love comments too. So anyway, check out our sponsors when you get a chance. So like I say, the weather, chilly out there today. You got the big coat on. You can see it hanging over there on the back of the door. You come in with a T-shirt on, but, coat's over there. We need it. And it's not getting any warmer out there. Believe me, it was warmer on the weekend, I think. But at least it's not snowing and it's not raining. So, it's a cloudy day, but how much can you complain? But when you get in that cold, especially me, my joints start to stiffen up. Do yours do that? I don't know. I feel like Frankie Valli singing Sherry Baby. Has anybody seen that video, by the way? Unfriggin' believable. Animatronic. This guy can't be real. I mean, you think Joe Biden's bad. This guy, he's got a few years on old Joe, but holy crap, he can't even... he shouldn't be up there. It's so phony. It looks like a robot or some iRobot doing the songs and that. Why do they do this to old people? He's had his run. He's been entertaining for 60 or 70 years, 80 years now. He's had his run. He's got his money. He's an old man. They drag him up on stage. He goes out there and he's supposed to be lip syncing, but he just can't even move his mouth. And he's got to stare like he's a robot. And, like that. It's terrible. It's terrible. Everybody's freaking out on this thing. And, now they're starting to use it as, when I get back to work on Monday, those kind of memes, So now it's getting funny. And you shouldn't make fun of the guy. He had a great career and he's a great singer. Everybody loved Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons. That's what happens when they march him out there like an animatronic right out of Disney. Maybe Elon Musk created a double or something because he's doing all kinds of stuff. We're going to talk about Elon Musk today, too. I'm reading Facebook, and people are still freaking out about those two characters on the other side of the wall at the falls. I gotta admit, I egg them on. I shouldn't egg them on, but I do. I say, leave the tourists alone, let them enjoy themselves. And of course, everybody freaks out about the wall and they're gonna fall over and rescuers and everything, right? But the problem with people is they don't read everything you say. They just read the parts they want. I have said they should be fined 10,000 for stunting because to me that's a stunt. If you're gonna walk along that edge of the wall where the mist comes up, the rocks are slippery, you could fall in. Then you know what? That's like a stunt man. It's like stunning, right? Give a ticket, $10,000 fine. That'll put it to work. And I've also said that I couldn't care less about them. If they fall over, that's going to be great news and great marketing for Niagara Falls. It'll be all over the papers. We get some free marketing. Mayor Jim would think that's genius. But I said, the problem is they put our rescue workers at risk, and that's not fair. These guys that go down there to get these stooges, they have families too, and they have to go down there and risk their lives, and that's the bad part about it. Now, one Karen said I should apologize for saying to leave them alone. I mean, these people don't appreciate satire. They really don't. They just take what they want and leave the rest, right? Now, the media can manipulate people so easily. And now you know why? Because they only see what they want to see. They don't look at the whole story. So when you hear these crazy things, you know why? Because people didn't read the whole context of the statements. They pick out one little part, leave the tourists alone, and let them have fun. But they don't read the rest of it, right? And that's why people can be manipulated so easy. So he's saying I should apologize for saying that, right? Like really, they can't discern satire from reality. I mean, nobody wants to see them fall over and get killed, even me. So it's really easy to play these people. You just keep saying the same things over, and they get mad at you over and over again, and the same Karens complain and whine. And I just sit back and watch the show, and knowing the jokes on them, and if they bothered to read it all, they'd know exactly where I stand on it. But you know what? That never happens. You know it. I know it. You put comments on Facebook, I'm sure, where if somebody's been yelling at you and giving you the one too, even though the bottom line is, they didn't read the whole thing and they're misinterpreting what you say. But that's the way it is. And Peter Dichter and I talked at length about this when Peter was in. He was in on Friday on my 400 show. And if they listen, they know exactly what we say on the show, right? And how they should deal with these nitwits that do things like that. So everybody's just got to take a pill, chillax, be safe out there. Don't do stupid things. And like I say, if these guys fall over and get swept down the river and end up in Queenston, that's fine. That's up to them. But I don't want to see our rescue people who have to go out there and deal with these bozos get hurt. So yeah, there's my stand on it. Anybody's bothering to listen to the show, they'll know where I stand, and you can just relax about any comments on the internet. I just love to wind these guys up, and they always get wound up and they get all upset, and I just sit back laughing. I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. Speaking of tourism in Niagara Falls, Sleep Cheap is back. That's right. You have the opportunity to stay at some of the best hotels in Niagara Falls for a really, really reduced rate. This program has raised over 2.5 million for nearly 100 local charities since it started in 2004. Now, Mayor Diodati, we call him the Big Show. He started this program to celebrate the city's 100th anniversary and promote goodwill between the residents, us, who always are at odds with the tourist industry in this city, and the residents that have to put up with the blessing and curse of 12 million tourists a year. Right now, it's time for you to be tourists. You can go down there and get a room. The event runs from Sunday, November 17th through Thursday, November 21st, and you can start making reservations mañana. That's right, tomorrow at 9 p.m., the phone's open. And I would say get on the blower tomorrow morning at 9 and make them, because this event usually sells out pretty fast. The program is for Niagara residents, and rooms can be had for as low as $65 a night. And residents can book up to 2 nights. Pretty good deal for these rooms that are charging $400 or $500 during the tourist season. In conjunction with the Cheep program, the Winter Festival of Lights fires up on November 16th this year and runs until January the 5th, 2025. The Winter Festival of Lights is the country's largest and longest running festival. The Winter Festival of Lights is in its 42nd year and anticipating close to 1 million visitors during the 50 days the festival is up and running, and a great boost for the area in what is traditionally the slow season. With more than 3 million lights and more than 75 displays, it's truly a sight to behold. And a lot of people in the city throw up their Christmas lights and get all that stuff going at the same time to celebrate it all together. That's when people put up their lights, start putting their lights on and getting ready for the Christmas season. Go check out the Winter Festival of Lights. You won't be disappointed. It is a beautiful display. Even I take a drive down there and see it, and I don't go anywhere. But I usually take a little drive through the park at some point during the festival just to see what they got going. It's always new displays and stuff, so pretty cool, pretty cool. Go down and check it out. You'll love it. And if you get to go through Duff, that area there, I think they always have a bucket at the end for donations. Throw some money in it. They give it to good causes. It doesn't go to the parks. It goes to good causes. Okay, what else we got going on here? Don't mind me. I look out the window. There's people running all over the place here. It's wacky, wacky. Well, I'm sitting watching reading the newspaper, and the lefties are losing it again in Canada. Both the NDP and Liberal federal parties blasted our guy, Pierre Poilievre, Wednesday, saying his statement that the Israelis should proactively strike Iran's nuclear facilities is a disastrous foreign policy that would contravene international law and quash hope for peace in the Middle East. These people asleep at the switch. There's no peace in the Middle East right now. Israel's getting the hell bombed out of it from 4 fronts. Hezbollah to the north, Hamas to the east, Houthis to the south, and Iran from the west. So what the hell are they talking about? I guess they think that shooting 200 ICBMs at Israel is in accordance with international law, but striking back at their infrastructure or lobbing 200 ICBMs at them is a no-no. I guess that's what they think. So the Foreign Affairs Minister of Nothing, Melanie Joy, told reporters that PP's preemptive strikes would trigger a broader war. Like between who? They're already bombing Israel from every direction. A broader war. It doesn't get much broader than Israel being attacked from all sides, right? Lebanon and Syria to the north, Hamas to the west, Yemen to and the Houthis from the south, and Iran from the west. How much broader can it get over there? You got one little country in the middle of it all getting slammed from all sides. I mean, yeah, I'd say these liberals and the dippers catered to the terrorists that are looking to wipe Israel off the map. I would say so. I would say so. If they're telling Israel to cease and desist when everybody else is bombing them. Joy repeated Canada's support for Israel and the right to defend themselves. Okay, Melanie, so what's the problem here? What's the problem? If they have the right to defend themselves, that's what they're doing. So what's the problem? Another kook, Defense Minister Bill Blair, whoever he is, said strikes on nuclear facilities, and I use that term loosely because nuclear facilities, they got one nuclear power plant. The rest are producing enriching uranium to build build nuclear bombs, would be contrary to the law of armed conflict. But sending 200 ballistic missiles, Billy Blair, isn't? These people are wacky. They truly are. They're whacked. They truly are whacked. On Monday, PP has addressed a largely Jewish audience in Ottawa, intending or repeating his intent to staunchly defend Israel against its critics and uphold Israel's right to defend itself against these terrorist aggressors. Israel must be able to prevent Iran from using nuclear force against them. And if that means proactively striking nuclear sites and installations, so be it. I don't think there's any country in the world other than Iran that wants them to have nuclear weapons. Nobody wants a nuclear war, and these guys having nuclear weapons don't do any good for anyone. So he also said that it would be a gift to the world and humanity if Israel were to prevent Iran from completing their nuclear program. And I agree. Now would be now. Be clear, he wasn't talking about the one nuclear power plant they have operating. He doesn't want to bomb that. He was talking nuclear enrichment sites. Although the left is spinning in a different way, of course. They're spinning this in a different way, like to wipe out their infrastructure and harm the Iranian people. NDP Foreign Affairs critic Heather McPherson labeled PP a warmonger. Wow. PP is a warmonger because he wants Israel to protect itself and a preemptive strike so they don't get nuked. Other lefties are saying if you attack these facilities, you're starting a war. Do all these loonies not consider lobbing hundreds of ballistic missiles at one country a prelude to starting a war? You got to wonder what's wrong with these people. Seriously. Of course, the inept White House being run by Biden and Harris are saying diplomatic solutions are the answer. Well, they've had a year with nothing. They've had a year to stop this thing. It's a year old now. And right now, beaching it and doing fluff talk shows seem to be on the Harris and Biden agenda, not visiting the devastation from two hurricanes in the South or negotiating peace on two fronts that badly need help from the U.S. if they had any real leaders running the U.S. right now. So my thing is carry on, PP. Someone has to straighten these wackadoodles out, and you might have to be the guy. We got to get you in there and get rid of this Castro guy. Now, speaking of these left-wing kooks, today the lefties send you some money back from the money you have been scammed out of by the useless carbon tax. That's right. The government claims that if you are fuel-wise, you will actually make money on this pocket-picking Ponzi scheme they call the carbon tax. Ronald Reagan said the most frightening words in the world are, "We're from the government and we're here to help you." And most dangerous words in the world. If somebody says that to you, run. Throw them off your property because it's never going to, that's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. So what do? Well, we get $140 or something. You pay carbon tax on everything you touch. And really carbon tax, what are they taxing? The air you breathe. Oh yeah, that's what it is. It's a tax on air. I got $140. I don't know what you guys got. And what's that going to do? Fill up a big SUV? Maybe one fill up at the pumps? Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. The left-wing wackadoodles claim most people make money from the scheme. Okay, well, let's say that's true, which it isn't, but let's say it's true. Why take it from us in the first place? If it's break even or you're losing money, why not just get rid of it? It doesn't even make sense. You're giving it all back to us. Why charge us in the first place? Just give it back. Don't charge us. You don't have to give it back. Doesn't make sense. This kind of sense. But it makes this kind of sense. Money. Trillions of cents which Canada ships to countries that tell them to shove the carbon tax Ponzi scheme up their butts. They aren't doing anything to reduce anything. That's the way they work in China and India and those countries. And you know what? We're being scammed once again, ladies and gentlemen. And basically, they take your money, tell you to shut up. And you know damn well they're listening to Klaus Schwab, who says you're going to have nothing and you're going to be happy with that. Because that's what they're looking for. That's what they're looking for. Who's got any money? Spend it all on taxes. Your last tax installment a few weeks ago. Everything's on taxes. These scams never end. They never end. And they're never going to end. Never going to end. Got to wake up, everybody. We got to wake up. You say you want a revolution? Whoa, we all want to change the world. Well, I don't know if we do because everybody's just paying up and shutting up. Okay, so what do we want to talk about now? We're going to go to my other sponsor, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. And you know what? This is the time of year. I was just talking about the Winter Festival of Lights, people putting their lights up for Christmas and Halloween, decorating their house, up ladders, down ladders. The chance of falling or hurting yourself. Why not just give Colin Buckborough at Hamilton Glowstone Lighting a call? Say, Colin, come on over to my house. Give me a free quote. And he's going to come over, look at your house. You tell him what you want. He's going to tell you what it costs. And away you go. Permanent outdoor lighting. You don't have to fool around with lights anymore or cords or anything else. One shot, he puts the lights up. And guess what? You control them with your phone. They're all LED lights, so they're going to be really, really cheap on power. You don't have to worry about breaking the bank. We just talked about taxes. Well, forget about that. You're not going to be spending a lot of money on them. And also, they add value to your house. At the end of the day, people see that and say, oh, geez, I don't have to climb ladders anymore. I control it from my phone any color I want. How does it get better than that? They offer a lifetime warranty because all the joints are not plugged in and with these cords all over the place. All the joints are soldered, impervious to dust, impervious to moisture. Yeah, they're going to run forever. Lifetime warranty on them. Unbelievable. Any color you like. Celebrate any holiday. No lights, no ladders, no muss, no fuss. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. Colin Buckborough's the guy you call. 289-969-1797. I'm going to say that slower because I know I talk fast. 289-969-1797. Colin Buckborough. And you know what? Call him now because guess what? Winter Festival of Lights coming up. Halloween coming up. People are calling him. His phone's ringing off the hook because they want to get him out there before Christmas. And he's got to make appointments to do this. So give him a call today. If you're going to call him, give him a call today. Get him over there. Give you a free quote. Get him up before Christmas. Make your house look beautiful for the Christmas season. And you'll be the envy of the neighborhood. I guarantee it. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting supporter sponsors. Thank you very much. Okay, so give us your money and shut up. Over to Texas, and this weekend they had the Starship launch. SpaceX, right? Elon Musk. And they launched another Starship trial. Now, I was watching this. I watched it lift, and I didn't quite understand what the trial was because they already shot this thing off 5 times before. Something like that. It worked flawlessly. And then they said what they were going to do is recover the booster. But they weren't recovering it out of the ocean or on land or anything. What they were going to do is grab this booster out of midair somehow. I didn't know what they were going to do. So I'm watching this crazy thing. And this booster separates from the main rocket. It does 3 or 4 blasts out of the engines. It turns around. It comes right back to the gantry where they launched the SpaceX rocket. And this is right out of Buck Rogers. Unfriggin' believable. I couldn't believe it. I was totally amazed. This thing came back just like this. It's coming back. Boom, 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 coming back. And it goes like this. And it comes right back to the gantry. And blasts an engine, lowers itself down, and these 2 big arms come out like this. And they grab this friggin' rocket. It's got 4 prongs on it. And it lands right on it, and they recover this rocket. You swear to God there was a rope or something on it that they lowered it down with. It was just unreal. The replays just blow your mind. I don't know if anybody watched it. I always watch these blast offs because I don't know, they interest me. Now, the gantry had what they call chopsticks, these things that close, right? They call them chopsticks. And this thing lands so gentle on these chopsticks, and they catch it. Yeah, they caught it. And I watched it, and so many things can go wrong. This crazy rocket could smash into the gantry and destroy it. It could blow up. These things miss it, and it drops to the ground and blows up. It worked the first time, and you just got to think, why can't NASA do this? Elon Musk can, why can't NASA? But look, something out of James Bond. If you remember the James Bonds with Blofeld and Doctor Evil or who, with these things, these rockets and crap in James Bond, it looked like something like that. It didn't look real, but it was real. There's all kinds of people standing down in South Padre Island watching this in hotel rooms, and this thing came back, and I just he had a big weekend here, Elon, with that working flawlessly. Now they got the booster there. They just lower it down and fill her up and use her again. Beautiful. For the next shot. And I mean, they're getting all ready to the moon and then get to Mars. And it was really neat. He was at a Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. I talked about that already, the 100,000 people, and he had a big shirt on. Occupy Mars. Interesting. But if you didn't see it, go to YouTube and check out the replay of it. It'll blow your mind. Totally blows your mind. And now, if that isn't mind blown up, Elon is now introducing Optimus. And this is a robot that to serve you. And it can do anything you want. It can babysit your kids, get the groceries, mow the lawn, wash the car, walk the dog, entertain your friends, serve drinks. Anything you can think of, it can do. And I'm looking at you. Get your mind out of the gutter. But I guarantee you can be programmed to do that too. Unbelievable. This thing was standing there, and people were interacting with it. They had maybe about 37 of them at least at this party. One was a bartender in a cowboy hat and everything, and the other one was they were just talking to people. And it's really, really neat because this robot can actually think for itself. It can talk real time to you. So the answers are not programmed in it, but it can answer in 1 second. It has the ability to search whatever it needs to know, whatever question you ask it, and answer you. So you can talk back and forth. They all have a different voice and have different accents as per Southern United States or New York or whatever, and they give different answers to different questions. So if you asked one a question about something and you asked another one, they would answer it probably the same answer as far as content and thought, but not the same repeated answer like you get with a lot of AI, like Alexa, and that if you ask it a question, it gives you the same answer. It's a scripted answer type of thing, where these things actually make up their own speech. They think for themselves. In one instance, it asked a person's name and then sang happy birthday to them. Someone also asked if it could play rock, paper, and scissors. That game, they go like that. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that kind of thing, right? And basically it could play it, but the humans could play it a little bit better. But when it is playing you, it remembers. And it has a memory, so it remembers faces. So if you met it once, next time you met it would know who you are from facial recognition. Interesting. So it has the ability to remember faces. So it'll actually, if you bought one, get to know you and know your preferences. So if you like your eggs scrambled, you wouldn't have to say scrambled eggs. You say, I want bacon and eggs, and the thing would do it exactly the way you want it. Unless you ask for something different, of course, right? Like your bacon crispy, your bacon will be crispy. They'll make you breakfast. The thing's amazing. And it's going to come out initially for between $50,000 and $70,000 a piece. But Generation 1, Elon says, is more for industrial use, corporate use, where, for example, Generation 1 is going to go into Tesla plants, and it's going to do a lot of the jobs that humans do and eventually replace the humans. It can do that job. And then eventually, when they come up with Generation 2, it'll be launched for other corporations, places like Amazon and FedEx that are using robots already, but they're not as advanced as this one. They're not as advanced as this one. They're like arms that bring packages and put them on a thing. Well, these things can walk around, and they can take a package. They can get your mail. They can walk to the mailbox. They can go grocery shopping for you. They can do everything. They have the ability to do everything. So they're going to replace those kind of robots and plants. They're going to be walking around with people, right? And doing things that these other robots can't because they're not mobile. They're set on a stand like this and they do whatever they got to do. They're good at it. But these guys will be able to walk from one place to the other. And once they get it to Generation 2 and these corporations get it in that, then it'll come out to the public, general people. And of course, they're going to be expensive. They're not going to be cheap. The $70,000, there's only so many people who could afford to spend $70,000 on a robot. But eventually, once enough people get them, then they'll come down to 20 or 30,000, less than the cost of a new car, he says, which is true. New cars today, hard pressed to get a $20,000 or $30,000 new car. So that's the way it's going to kind of work out with these things, and they're really, really neat. And he thinks that in the future, everybody will have one in their house to take care of you, get grandma to the bathroom, babysit your kids, take care of your dog, take your dog for a walk, do all the things that you really don't want to do, mow the lawn, whatever, it doesn't matter. And that's what's probably going to happen when it's all said and done with them. Now, I'm looking at this going, I don't know, man. I've seen too many movies where these robots go wild and they start going crazy, right? And they don't do the things you want them to do. And then you see the one where, the hell was that one movie about that robot that felt he was a human, not a robot anymore? He became aware and he lived on his own and blah, blah, blah. And whatever. But does this scare anybody? If it does, let me know in the comments. Tell me. I'm a little bit, I don't know about this stuff, AI and these robots. I mean, we saw what happened over in the Middle East where they programmed 1,200 pagers to blow up and kill a bunch of people and everything else. Like, like who's not to say that somebody can't bust into these robots and create an army of killer robots? We don't know. That's the problem. We don't know. But we do know that if there's something that's good, like atomic energy, create electricity in that, there's somebody else who will take it and use it for something that isn't so good. That's the way it goes. So anyway, if you're scared, let me know in the comments on the video. Let me know. Tell me. We'll talk about it. Now, not to be outdone by Optimus, the new robot, he also introduced the Cybercab and Cybervan. Driverless vehicles that can take you to places for a fee. So you want to go somewhere, this driverless car pulls up, you jump in, and away you go. And basically, he's calling them Optimus on wheels. So it'd be like getting into a cab, and you can talk to the. No, I don't know if they're going to put anything in there other than it's just going to have nothing. You sit down in the seat, and away you go. But you'll be able to talk to it, tell it where you want to go. It'll ask you questions. You want to stop somewhere to get something on the way, you can do that. And it's going to be a big network. So if you have a Tesla, the new Teslas are going to be built with this feature in them so that if you're at home and you're not going anywhere for the weekend, you can actually log your car in, and they'll use it and pay you to use it for this. And I think Elon's got a plan where they give you 70% of the money and Tesla takes 30% for using your car, something like that. So, I mean, Elon's not sitting still. He's got all this stuff going. And even though we see Boston Dynamics with these robots that can jump and run and open doors and everything else, these are even more advanced than those, and they're pretty advanced. So, going to be interesting what the future holds. A lot of times I say I'm glad I'm old, but you know what? I wish I was a little bit younger because I'd love to see these things come into play. You go to somebody's house and they got one of these, and give me a beer. There you go. So Elon continues to amaze everybody. And the smartest man in the world who's doing all this stuff supports Trump because he knows what's going on in the election. Now, speaking of the election in the South, we're going to get to that, right? I can't resist. I can't resist. But there was an interesting take on the U.S. election that I watched a video this weekend. And I was listening to this podcast, and the host started talking about what would happen when Trump wins the election. Now, a lot of people, inside people that this guy talked to, say the Democrats won't accept the win and a possible civil war could break out. How will it go down? Now, this is interesting. Well, the vice president has to certify the election. And we saw that with Trump. And that's where the rift between Trump and Pence came in. Because Trump said the election was rigged and Pence certified it. As vice president, he certifies the election. Pence certified it without letting it go through the courts to find out if there were some bad ballots and everything. He just certified it, and that was that. And Kamala has the same right to certify the election or not certify it. So, yeah, so there you go. Now, when she's defeated, the general opinion is that she will not certify the election, saying that Trump is an insurrectionist, right, from January 6th. And according to Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, he's ineligible to be president. So she will not certify the election because she's going to claim he is ineligible to be president. Now, if the Congress and Senate back this, Kamala would move to president and J.D. Vance would be vice president. Go figure that one out. As strange as that sounds. And if you don't believe this could happen, check out the case of the 1800 presidential election surrounding Jefferson Burr, who was in a situation like this. Unbelievable. It could happen, and they're saying it will happen. Now, I don't know if it will or not. This is just something I heard, but it's possible. I mean, right now, it's so goofy in the United States with what's going on. 3 weeks to the election, 3 weeks today, actually, to the election day, that who can predict what's going to happen? They've taken 2 shots at Trump. There was a guy with a gun at one of his rallies in Coachella on the weekend, and he was caught outside with all kinds of guns and crap. Never got in, not close, but he was there. There's gangs that are supposedly have surface-to-air missiles going to try to take Trump Force One out, and they're so concerned about it, they want to assign him a military jet because they think this could actually happen. So this is not beyond the realm of possibility. There's hit squads in the United States wanting to take him out. Iran wants to take him out. They're claiming. I don't know about that. They're claiming Iran wants to take him out because of the Soleimani killing. It's possible. I think they did put a thing on his head, but who knows? I mean, are they going to do a false flag and blame it on Iran to start a war with Iran? They want a war with Iran bad. We don't know. So keep your eyes open for the next 3 weeks. It's going to come down to the nitty gritty, and it's going to get very interesting. You can hear it here. We talked about this before. I would not be surprised if they took another shot at Trump. I would not be surprised at all. And barring that, they'll try to pull the third part of the 14th Amendment. Now, staying with the election, I was really surprised. I saw another video with Michael Moore talking about the election. Now, everybody knows Michael Moore is a big left-wing loony, hates Trump, definitely a TDS syndrome person. And he's probably what I would call a huge left wing radical that definitely has TDS. That's what I would call him. But in this video, he says the nation cannot elect Kamala Harris. Why? Because he was at a meeting where Trump was sitting with the executives from Ford Motor Company, where he told the Ford Motor Company people that if they build their cars in Mexico, they'll never get them in the United States without such a huge tariff. They won't be able to sell one car in America. The price will be twice that of a vehicle made in the USA. So he's going to tariff the SHIT out of them. You know what he says about that. And they won't sell a car in America. They're not going to do it. That's the bottom line. And Michael Moore was impressed and understands that to make America great again, you need someone that's going to stand up to these corporations. And Trump is the guy. That was hugely surprising to me because the Cheeseburger King, and I'm not talking about Trump, I'm talking about Michael Moore. He was staunchly against. I've never heard that guy say anything good about Trump. But he understands the importance of a strong leader and putting America first, and his complete turnaround. He understands this is the most important election in the history of the United States, bar none. You cannot have this wingnut, Kamala Harris, who cannot do the job. She's incompetent, be the president. So he'll be happy to know. Michael Moore, you'll be happy to know this. I'm talking to Michael Moore now if he's listening. The prediction model gives Trump a 62.4% chance of winning in 3 weeks, and that number is going up, and it'll be going up more as we get closer to the election. So, Michael Moore, nice endorsement. Thank you very much. It's great to see somebody finally using common sense and coming over to what you would have called the dark side previous. But it's good to see you over, and there's a lot more that are coming over that won't admit they are because they get too much static. They won't admit they're voting for Trump, but they are, especially big business people, because they know that they need it. They need Trump there to straighten everything out. Back to Canada. Yeah, maybe we'll do my final sponsor. I'll talk about my final sponsor before we get into Justin Castro and the latest on Justin Castro. But if you want a great pizza, give Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza a shot. Believe me, I'm a pizza snob. Before I would even take on this sponsor, I said, you know what? I've got to come and get a pizza and have a pizza and try it. Because if I don't like it, I can't talk about your pizza. So I sent Liz down there incognito and got a pizza. It was great. I loved it. It's fantastic. So I go, okay, I can do this. Now, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue uses the Mancini family recipe. Mancini family started Pete's Pizza 40 years ago. St. Catharines was their first store, I believe, on Ontario, across from the GM plant there up that end of Ontario Street. And he uses their old family recipe for the dough and for the sauce. It's really good. And they even use cornmeal on the bottom, which is my favorite. Now, Mike, the guy who owns it, has worked in an Italian restaurant for 15 years, so he knows a little bit about Italian food and pizza. And he really does a great job with blending the cheese and the sauce for that right ratio, so it's not oversauced and neither is it over cheesed. It's just right. And he also told me he uses quality ingredients like Saputo mozzarella and brick cheese. He does a blend of it so you get that nice pull on it, that nice taste. Yeah, they're really good. I've had a couple different kinds down there. They're both good, consistent. Yep, the pizza comes down, and guess what? They don't just sell pizza. They sell poutine, subs. They sell all kinds of things there. You got to get a menu and check it out. It's a pretty good menu. And since they're celebrating their 40th anniversary of Pete's Pizza, they're offering 2 medium pizzas with 3 toppings for $25. Can't beat that. I get 1, I get 2, I freeze 1, save it for later on. It's awesome. Great price too. That's going to the end of the year. Now, also, Mike has decided he wants to open his store for the convenience of his customers. So what do? He moves Sunday to Thursday to midnight close, which is late. A lot of pizzerias and that kind of thing aren't open. Most of them aren't open. You'd probably be hard pressed to find one that was open, and then extended the hours on Friday to Saturday to 2 a.m., 2 in the morning. So you go out, have a few pops, watch the hockey game. Geez, I'm gonna grab a pizza and go home. There you go. He's open. Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. That's what you got to call. 905-374-2222. Or you can order from, let me look it up so I get it right. You can order from on the website too, Yeah, you can order it off the website as well. And that would be at petespizzavictoria.ca. Order your pizza today. Your pizza awaits you. Mike will make it really nice and you're going to be happy. Tell him Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. And I thank you for for supporting our sponsors. Yeah. And I love pizza. You know what I had for breakfast this morning? I don't have to tell you. Put it in the comments. You know what? You're going to be right if you guess pizza. But I'm not telling you that. Now, is little Justin Castro going to declare war on India? I don't know. Looks like it. He's accusing India of supporting violent crimes in Canada. He's expelled 6 Indian diplomats as the RCMP laid out stunning allegations accusing agents of the Indian government of playing a role in widespread violence in Canada, including homicides, and warns that India poses a serious threat to our public safety. Guys are a little bit slow to the game, aren't they? Seriously. Are they finally admitting the invasion of Canada is a danger to the public? I think all of us knew that, no? Weren't all of us, didn't we know that? I think we knew that. They call us, look at this, they call us the fringe minority, right? Yes, with unacceptable views. See that? Fringe minority, unacceptable views. That's what they tell us we are. But we knew that. RCMP, what kind of force is this? They're like 10 years late to the game here. Oh boy. Well, Justin, you're the leader of this gang of criminals. You're the leader. You let them all in. You gave them all leniency when they get caught. There's a revolving door in the courts in Canada. Oh, we can't convict them. They didn't know. They have different rules there. They can't speak English. Whatever the reason is, they let them out on the streets and they do the same thing. They're killing people. And you let them off the hook. You don't deport them. You don't incarcerate them. In fact, you're the criminal. The thought you're blaming them is crazy. Tighten everything up. What's the matter with you? Stupid? We can blame you for their criminal activity. If you're serious, deport them. Deport them. Not just the ambassadors. Deport all the bad guys. We know Jimmy Dollywall is an accused terrorist that would be arrested if he goes back to India. He's not even allowed to get into the country. But he leads a party in Canada. Yep, someone they call a terrorist. Indian agents are tied to the killing of a Canadian Sikh separatist leader, Hardeep Singh Nijjar, and other acts of terror, extortion, and murder. So there you go. They're out there. They're running around. No problem. India has reciprocated by throwing out 6 Canadian diplomats. Oh, boy. They're mad. And claims that Trudeau is doing this to get the Indian vote in the next election. It's all political and not factual. Of course, Jagmeet is supporting all this. After all, he's a Sikh and doesn't like the Hindus, the ones that call him a terrorist. India is not impressed with him. Can't enter India. They call him a terrorist for not only sheltering pro-Khalistani sympathizers in Canada, but also for leading an anti-Indian movement in the Americas. According to the latest dossier prepared by the Indian intelligence officials, Jimmy Dollywall, Jagmeet Singh, remains a pro-Khalistani ringleader despite his Punjabi roots. He was denied a visa in 2013 for his anti-Indian stance and allegations he funded Khalistani outfits operating out of Pakistan. He's also connected with a prominent Khalistani and Kashmir separatist groups based in different countries in Europe. Boom, boom. I think they're the ones that took down that Lockerbie or whatever. And he denies it was them, even though they've been charged, some have been charged on it or something. Also suggests that Jagmeet Singh is trying to bring Khalistani and Kashmiri separatists under one umbrella in Canada. He's known for his support for the Khalistani terrorists, and endorsed the use of political violence as a legitimate form of resistance to achieve an independent Sikh homeland in India. Maybe they should send Jimmy back. How about that? Unfortunately, he was born in Canada and we have to put up with him. Although Canadians must agree with his stance as he made his way to the top of the NDP party politics, so a lot of Canadians must agree with them. Now they put him at the top of the NDP party. So somebody agrees with him, and it ain't me. Canada's a mess. Come on, let's face it. Canada's a big mess. We've been invaded. There's no turning back now. And in one generation, in the short 20 years, there would be no more Canada as we know it, even as it was 10 years ago. Trudeau and his open border policies ensured that. And I say I'm glad I'm old. I'll be dead and gone by the time this country's gone down the tubes. It's bad enough now, but it's going to get worse. And on one hand, I'm glad I'm old and I won't be here. But on the other hand, I wish I was younger so I could see Elon Musk and his stuff come to fruition. That's going to be pretty neat. If you're a young guy now, you're going to have some things to view, but hopefully everybody wakes up and straightens this country out before then. Now, I read another interesting story about EVs and salt water. Now, the EVs in Florida, after Helen and Milton, 2 hurricanes, the ones that were flooded with salt water from the Gulf, are exploding and catching fire. And apparently, this could be in cities that use salt on the roads in the winter. Now, my neighbor actually, and somebody who's a regular listener to the show, watcher of the show, Michelle Mustashi. Hello, Michelle. How are you? Thank you for that message about this. Sent this to me and gave me the heads up about it. Apparently, running an electrical charge through salt water separates the sodium, Na is the chemical symbol, and the chloride, Cl, so sodium chloride, and salt is NaCl. Woohoo! I'm giving you a lesson here in the periodic table of the elements and chemical compositions. And basically, this gas is flammable, and with any kind of spark, like a battery shorting out, kaboom! Not good. And they kind of use that kind of a thing on your pool too. If you got a saltwater pool, they put salt in there. It separates the chlorine from the sodium, and that's what disinfects your pool. So it's kind of the same type of thing like that. But some tips: stay away from the car. It's dangerous. If it's flooded, don't go near it. Stay away. If you see signs of damage or overheating, don't touch that. Like if you see leaking fluid, sparks, smoke, bubbling noises, or unusual odors, call 911 immediately. So now that's bad enough when they get flooded, right? But now they're also looking at EVs that use in Canada, and especially in places that use salt on the roadways, which is almost every place in Canada, right? To melt the snow in that. But this salt gets into the snow and it makes the slush, and the slush gets up into the batteries, and it can have the same effect. They're looking at it right now to see if there's a problem. And it's predominantly in areas like we are, where we get a moderate winter, like where it's really, really cold. They don't even use salt because it doesn't work. Like Alberta, it's minus 42 every day in the winter. Salt doesn't work, so they use sand on the roads and the snow packs. They plow the roads and they have a little bit of packed snow. But it's areas like ours that are kind of temperate, where we get slush most of the winter. It's a filthy mess around here all the time in the winter because we don't get that really extreme cold, and we don't get it warm enough to melt everything. It's kind of in between. So all that stuff gets up in the car and on the battery up under, and that could cause a fire as well. That's salt. So we have to really watch this. So if you have an EV, keep your eyes open for anything weird going on with it, because the salt corrodes, gets in there, corrodes the batteries, and does some weird stuff, the salty water. Now, that doesn't even start to mention the salt corroding the brakes, and they have regenerative power on these electric vehicles, and they make them less effective. So Yeah, watch for salt water. That's an interesting article. I would have never thought about it, but yeah, all those cars that were flooded, and there was a lot of them in Florida along the coast because they got hammered from, oh my goodness, probably from the north, the Big Bend, right down to Naples and Key West. A lot of stuff got flooded out by the storm surge and that, and the rain, lots of rain, 16 inches of rain or something. So, yeah, an interesting article. Thanks, Michelle. I appreciate that. Very, very interesting reading about this. I never thought of it. I don't know if anybody else did, but I certainly didn't think of the problem with water in the batteries. Not to mention, you get a good jolt if you touch them and they're shorting out. They're high voltage. They're not good. Not good for your good for your hair if you want a nice curly hair, but not good for your heart. It'll blow it up. And this is a great "I told you so" story. Apparently, all charges against Trump in the fraud case where they valued his Mar-a-Lago at 18 million and said he overvalued it. In New York City, looks like they're going to be dropped on appeal after the courts have destroyed Letitia James and Judge Arthur Engeron. Now, remember her? She's the one to campaign on a promise to get Donald Trump. That's what she. That's what she campaigned on as Attorney General of New York. Get Donald Trump. I'm going to get Donald Trump if I get elected. That was her campaign. That was it. Getting Donald Trump, and she did on a bogus charge. But now, New York City, the appeals court is going to overturn it. They have to. These charges are based on property valuations are causing a mass exodus by business people. They're going, holy geez, this is normal accounting for us. Of course, they're going to use the biggest number they can so they can get the biggest loans that they can get. The bigger the number, the more they can get. And, like it's really funny because this happens with every business. Everybody who owns property in Manhattan. They always do this. And don't worry, the banks have auditors. They send auditors out, appraisers to figure out what the banks are worth and what they can loan them. They don't just take the guy's word for it, whether it's Trump or anybody else. And at the end of the day, no matter what Trump said they were worth and what the bank gave him, he paid it all back. There's no claims against him. He didn't stiff the banks. He didn't stiff anybody. As a matter of fact, the bank said, we'll lend him money anytime. He's a great risk. He paid them all back for everything. But they insisted on putting these charges together, and guess what? Now they're going to get wiped out. Like everybody said, like I said, it's going to be one on appeal. This is a bunch of baloney. And just like Trump told everybody, but of course, they're out to get him, right? In this kangaroo court. So business people are going, well, if this happened to Trump, it could happen to us now. There's precedent, and we're getting the hell out of here because we don't want to get charged. Even though they probably wouldn't. They're not Trump. Only Trump gets these goofy charges against them. So the one thing that was missing from the article that I read on this is that James and Engeron, they should be charged with wasting taxpayers' money and made to pay it back. And they launched persecutory lawsuits with no case on him. They should be charged with frivolous lawsuits. And they also should be disbarred and imprisoned for this little escapade they pulled for no reason. And they made, I don't know if you remember some of the details, they made Trump cough up almost $500 million as a bail. And he went to court about that, and they finally reduced it to 142 million or something, which he came up with. He gave him the bail money because he had to, or they're going to throw him in jail. And now they're going to give him all that back, and all this court fees. It's going to cost the taxpayers a fortune for this nonsense. And these two people, one who swore to get him during her election campaign for district attorney or whatever she is, and the other one who's a useless judge. Both of them should be disbarred, and they should also be imprisoned for a frivolous lawsuit and causing a lot of trouble for nothing. And and I would say probably election interference. I would say that would be a great charge as well. Election interference. They did this before the election to try to get Trump out of it, just like that other clown in Fannie Willis there, and the other one in Georgia, and the other ones. They're all going by the wayside. The one in Florida for the classified documents that went by. They're all going by the wayside. They're all frivolous. They're all stupid. They're election interference, and they should all get charged. That's the bottom line. Anyway, it's 1 o'clock. It's time for me to get out of here. So I want to thank everybody for listening in. It's been a blast as usual. Coming back from a long weekend. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. And tomorrow is Habsolutely. So if you're a Habs fan, you want to tune in. If you're not, hey, tune in anyway. We have a laugh. We go through some trivia you might know and talk about the Habs over the weekend. And we did play 4 games. So we'll be talking about the Boston Bruins, the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Ottawa Senators, and of course the Toronto Make Believes. So we'll be talking about all of them tomorrow. Thursday is Straight Talk Thursday. Don't know what I'm going to do with that. Finally Friday. Don't know what I'm going to do with that. Monday is City Council Review Day. Of course, in a week from now, a week today, there's a City Council meeting. So I'm hoping Dave Wheeler will be in and we'll be talking about the agenda, what's going on at City Hall, giving you the inside scoop on that. We'll talk about it more on Tuesday and other things as we make our way through October and head to Halloween, November 5th election. It's all coming down. It's all coming down. Remembrance Day, wear a poppy, buy poppies. If you see people with poppies, I'll buy them. Come on, support our vets. They did a lot for us. Let's do something for them. The least we can do is buy a poppy. Wear it around, showing our support. And then we're into December and Christmas. Jeez. It goes fast. It goes fast, my friends. It goes fast. Anyway, my name is Paul Calamere. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in the studios of 4680Q. Support our sponsors. Please support our sponsors because they support the show and allow us to bring it to you every day. And that sponsors are Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, the leaders in permanent outdoor lighting, and of course, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue for a slice of great pizza in Niagara Falls. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow with Habsolutely. Check out the video later on. It'll be on by about 3:30 this afternoon. It'll be on YouTube and on Facebook pages. Ciao, ciao, everyone. Have a great day.